everybody. Welcome back. Today I have Aaron Garner. He is a master technician at Illumination Dental, and he started his training in 2001. Aaron, what do you do there at Illumination Dental?
At Illumination Dental, I specialize mainly in advanced cosmetic cases. So we do crowns, veneers, bridges, implant cases. We've started doing dentures. We've partnered with Denture Box to do dentures for us. And so my job really is to focus on the specifics, the tiny details of my patients' cases, and to give them the appearance that they're looking for.
Oh, now that is awesome. And the reason that we're filming this video is because I keep getting the question, what shade is a brighter white shade, an A1 or an AB? Can you help us with that?
Yes. You know, the shade guides that we have in the dental industry are really just tools to record what we see and be able to communicate that to someone else. So, for instance, one of the most popular ones is the Vita Classic Shade Guide. It's kind of broken down into color groups. Each one of those color groups is given a letter so that we can name that group and understand what it is. So, like the A group are kind of orangey, warm, brownish. The Bs are a little more yellow. The C group is kind of a cooler gray, kind of like blue or grayish colors. And then the Ds are kind of a warmer gray, kind of a pinky gray color.
According to Vita's info sheet, group set A is classified as being reddish, brownish. Group set B is reddish, yellowish. C is grayish, and D is reddish, grayish. Each hue group set is subdivided into chroma and value. The higher the number, the more chroma the shade tab has, and the lower the number, the higher the value of the shade tab and the brighter it appears.
Within each of these color groups, then we have numbers which help us understand the intensity of color. For instance, the A1 is the very brightest color in the A group. A2 is a little more color, A3 is a little more color, down to A4, which has a lot of color in it.
Okay.
Which would be, a much darker tooth than an A1, just because it has so much more color. And it goes that way in each color group. So the A, 1 through 4, B, 1 through 4, C, 1 through 4.
It's arranged by hue, and then there are chroma and value differences within each hue family. So for example, the A is a certain hue, and as you go up in number, you get a little bit more chroma and a little bit less value.
For instance, the A1 and the B1 are very, very similar. I mean, they're almost indistinguishable if you are not a dental professional who works with this all the time. They're the same brightness. The A is just maybe a little more orangey, the B is a little more yellow, but they are both very bright.
To take this Vita Classical Shade Guide, and instead of arranging it by hue, arrange it by value. And I'm going to put that up on the screen right now, what that value order is, because there's not really a rhyme or reason to it. It's just arranging it from light to dark, kind of ignoring any chroma or any hue.
Usually when I'm talking to patients about natural color, I always choose the B1 shade tab, and I tell them this is the brightest that a natural tooth usually occurs. This is 10 years old, you got your first central incisors just come in, you haven't spent years drinking coffee or wine or smoking or any of those other things that stain your teeth. B1 is very, very bright for a natural tooth.
Is that a bleach shade?
It is not a bleach shade. It's in the regular shade guide, what we would consider a natural color, but a very bright natural color. Now, we also have, because of the popularity of people bleaching their teeth or getting veneers or crowns that are much brighter than what occurs in nature, we have bleach shade guides, which are specific for very bright teeth. And these, Vita has two different shade guides. They have the BL shade guides, which are warmer colors. Even though these are bleach or bright, they do still have color in them. And so the BLs are warmer colors. And then we have the O shade guide, which is like 010, 020, 030.
My teeth are in the O shade from
Mhm.
here. Yeah.
And those are similar in brightness to this shade guide. They're just different color. They are kind of a cooler color, almost like a bluey or gray, where these are orangey, yellow, very bright shades.
Now, it never dawned on me I don't know, I was thinking when I was reading about all this and watching videos that some of these shades have different colors in them, because when you think teeth, well, you think, oh, this is this shade white with a little more white, but a perfectly white tooth would be, there would be no contrast to it. There would be no definition. There would be no anything like that.
Yeah, and that's true. I do a lot of cosmetic cases with what we would consider a bright white without color. In the BL shade guide, that would be the BL1, very brightest. To be honest, they look fantastic if you spend your life being filmed. Hollywood stars, people who are in TV, magazines, they look fantastic. When you see people with teeth like that in real life, they just look strange because it is so far beyond what occurs in nature. Our brains see that and immediately go, there's something wrong with that. It's not right.
It's not
I don't
normal.
understand it. But, a lot of people love that. They love that look, and so we give them what we want. But
Right.
I do tell my patients, especially if I'm doing veneers or crowns, there's nothing I can do to make this look natural. I will give you the tooth color you want,
Mhm.
but I can give you perfect shape. I can give you perfect contour. I can give you perfect internal structures, all of the features of a natural tooth. But if it's this bright, it will never look like a natural tooth.
Some people don't care and they don't want that.
Exactly. If it's achieving the look that my patients want, then that's what I give them. Whether I think it looks great or not, it doesn't matter. I'm not wearing
Right.
that smile.
Right.
But yeah, if you're not used to that, you do need to know a very, very bright is not going to look natural. It just isn't.
Right. Right. And I
natural
know
teeth.
some people have said, if I'm going to pay that much money for my teeth, they're going to be blinging,
Yeah.
and they really like that.
A lot of people love it, and great. If it's the appearance they want, then that's what we can give them. The very bright, the bleach shade guides, like I said, again, the shade guides are just a tool to help us understand and
Right.
communicate what we're seeing with someone else. You go to the doctor or the laboratory and they say, okay, BL2 is what we want. The next person in line, in that system of dental health will have a BL2, and then they go, oh, okay, I know exactly what that is.
Right.
Instead of just being very ambiguous about, well, we kind of want it bright, but not too bright. And, people's ideas of what that means are completely different from one another. So there
Now-
has to be a standard of understanding what those are.
Now, when you're looking at shades on somebody, what are you looking at? Their eye color, skin color? What are you looking at? If you have to do a full set of dentures and don't have to match other teeth.
We kind of want to look at them as an overall person. For instance, my wife and kids are all redheads.
Mm-hmm.
Redheaded people normally have more yellow teeth. You can see it in their fingernails. You can see it. That's just their coloration, that works with that set of genes. So if we have someone who's a redhead, we want to stick with the B shade guide or the B family group because that's the yellow ones. You don't want to give them something that's pinkish gray because it's going to look strange. But for the most part, the shade guides that we have or the tools that we have for communication, it's really hard for people who are not in the industry to even distinguish between an A1, a B1, a C1, because they're all very, very similar. And as long as you're not getting down into the very, very dark colors, a lot of those are interchangeable depending on the patient's desired look.
Some people choose to get one shade whiter if they smoke and drink coffee. Well, that because over time they think that they're going to stain and darken, and they think that that will help them stay whiter longer.
Yeah, and that's very possible with denture teeth. Porcelain teeth don't pick up coloration. They don't stain. Even if you drink red wine every day, your porcelain teeth are not going to stain.
Okay.
A natural tooth will stain, and a denture tooth, because it is, manufactured from composite materials and things like that, is a little bit porous and will stain over time. That's why, there are denture whitening products you can use, to take those stains off the surface of those teeth. The thing that I just want to stress to your viewers is the shade for denture teeth. We're not matching just one tooth to a bunch of natural teeth. Your teeth are all manufactured together. They will all match each other. You can vary slightly brighter, darker, one color family to another. A little bit is almost indistinguishable for the regular person. You would have to have a shade guide and hold it up against your denture tooth and
Right.
go, okay, this is such and such shade. Those shade guides are just for us to understand and communicate that to someone else. Whether you choose an A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, it all depends on how that looks to you. You don't the number and letter are arbitrary. We've made those up just so we can name that color of what it is, but a little bit of variation between one or another doesn't matter, especially with if you're having one denture and you have natural teeth on the other side of your mouth. They don't have to match exactly. As long as they're pretty close, you're going to look great. The mechanics of the human face are, when you talk, you see your lower teeth and not your uppers. When you smile, you see your upper teeth and not your lower teeth. The only time you see the upper and lower teeth together is if you're going like this.
I did that, yeah.
This is not a natural human expression.
Right.
So if you need an upper denture and you love the way, let's say, the A1 shade looks, but your lower teeth are like an A2 or maybe even an A3, you can get away with that because your uppers all match each other. And the only time you see them together is going like this.
Yeah.
If you have a slight variation, it's still going to look like $1 million. It's going to look fantastic. You can get caught up in the minutia of all of these things until your head's spinning.
Oh, yes.
We try and make it simple. A denture box, we have 3 shades we offer. We have A1, which is a light natural shade. We have an A3, which is a darker natural shade. And then we have
OM1.
Yeah, OM1, which is a bright bleach shade. All of the in-betweens, you're just getting caught up in the minutia of one thing as opposed to another. They don't change the way you look. So especially for people who are getting their dentures at home and aren't going through a chain of dental professionals,
Yes.
An A1 is as good as a B1 or a C1 or even an A2.
Right.
They're going to look the same in your mouth. We just are trying to achieve the colors you're looking for.
I know some people just struggle over what shade, because there's so many to pick from.
Yeah.
And maybe you have a good idea denture box, but okay, you have 3, this and this, pick one. That takes away a lot of the struggle. And I also have heard people say the B stands for bleach. That's what that means. There's the A teeth and then the B stands for bleach. That is not correct.
You're right. The B color family is a kind of a warmy yellow color. The shade guide that stands for bleach are BL. And then the color, the number which denotes the amount of color in the teeth, whether it be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so the BLs are for the bleach. Then you have the A's, which are kind of a warmy orange, brownish color. The B's are a little more yellow, but still warm. And then the C's are a cooler color, kind of like a grayish or blue,
Right.
undertones. And then the D's are grayish with a warmer undertone, almost kind of like a pink undertone.
When I went to my dentist, he held up these shades and he knew what he was doing. And does he go through training at dental school on shades? Is there any schooling on the shade color in the dental school?
There is, just to help the doctors understand what our communication tools mean.
Okay.
One dentist as opposed to another may be better at taking an accurate shade.
Okay.
The same thing with dental technicians. One may be better than another at taking an accurate shade. A lot of that depends on your professional's experience and their personal ability to see and to understand what they're seeing. As a crown and bridge technician, I go to my dental offices if I'm matching a tooth for someone, and I spend time. I take photos, I make notes, I look at the brightness of the tooth, the amount of color, the amount of transparency. If I can see internal structures inside those teeth, or if they have external characterizations or distinguishing features. Those are all things that I have to do as a professional to match existing natural teeth.
Well, and when you do it, you don't just take one shade. You take multiple shades and put them in different places in the tooth so it will match the teeth around it.
Exactly. Like most reference materials, natural human anatomy never matches your reference material exactly. Our shade guide is just our reference material.
Right.
When it comes to dentures, it's different because the teeth are manufactured in these exact shades. So it simplifies the process, and it should be, hopefully, simpler for patients to understand because what they see is exactly what they're getting. Matching natural teeth is much more difficult.
A person, like you were saying, with red hair or dark hair shouldn't try to match somebody's teeth with blonde hair because they're not going to look right on them because their skin tone and everything is different. So you get what is right for you, not what everybody else has.
Yes, yeah, and to be honest, a lot of that just depends on your preference. You may choose a shade that shouldn't be compatible with your natural coloration, but if you like it, you like
Then
it.
do it. Yeah.
If it looks good, it looks good. There are no hard and fast rules about that.
It's a big decision when you're getting denture teeth because you're going to have these for many years and you pay so much money for them, you don't want to get the wrong shade. So I know people struggle with take pictures of yourself. In the try-in denture, will the shade of tooth be in there?
Normally, at least at Denture Box,
Okay.
we print our try-ins out of a material that's an A1 shade. And so that way we can tell our patients, do you like the shade of teeth that are in your try-in?
Mm-hmm.
Or would you like them to be darker, a little more, to match natural teeth? Or do you
Right.
want them lighter? And that way, that helps us communicate with our patients and help simplify things for them.
Well, I can tell you that when I got my try-in, I wore it for 2 weeks as my dentures because, they fit perfectly and I loved the color was nice. I just wanted to go a little whiter on mine, but nobody knew. Nobody knew I was wearing my try-in denture.
A brighter natural shade like that is always going to look great because it looks like a bright, healthy tooth, but it also looks like a natural tooth.
Right.
Right. Whereas the much brighter shades just don't look like natural teeth,
Right.
for the most part. Okay.
All right. Can we talk just a little bit about the shape of a tooth and how to go about choosing that?
There are many different shapes of denture teeth because there are many different shapes of people. Normally, as dental professionals, what we try and do is evaluate first the shape of our patient's face. The shape of the tooth should, according to, the rules of dentistry, match the shape of your face. what it does is it subconsciously echoes your overall shape. So it looks harmonious with you when other people are seeing you. There are no exact rules. A young lady who has, more of a triangular face may love a round tooth because those rounded corners on the edges give her a softer, more feminine appearance. A young man who has a round face may like a square tooth where it's bold and those corners are squared off and give him a more masculine, aggressive appearance. There are things you can do with the shape of your teeth that will affect how other people see you subconsciously. But by and large, we do try and mimic the shape of our patients' faces with the shape of their teeth.
I never knew that. I've never even heard that before because I don't think it was ever questioned. I can tell you my experience. My teeth, I let Jen at Denture Box, she just put the design in, they chose. They just did it. And I love it because my teeth are a little more rounded. They're just a little more rounded. And not one person that I've met, when I tell them that these are dentures, they know. Because it's not the typical, like when you look at older people, it was like they all have the square teeth and the round and they're all flat this way. My teeth are not like that. My teeth, in fact, I was looking at my brother's daughter, my niece, the other day, and I'm looking at her teeth and I'm looking at mine, and I took a picture of her teeth and sent it to Jen, and I'm like, this is the design you gave me. And my niece and I look similar, and it's like, you gave me my niece's teeth and I like this because nobody knows. I didn't want, I don't want to say I didn't want it, but now I know I like this rounded on me. I didn't even know that's how you picked the shape of a tooth. So that's pretty interesting.
Your dentures look great on you. We really try to create dentures that don't look like dentures. There are a lot of things we can do with that. The same things we do when we're doing large cosmetic cases with patients with veneers. Or if they're doing 14 crowns, if you make them all square and upright and straight right next to each other, we call it a picket fence, basically.
Yes. Okay.
Then even if they aren't dentures, they're going to look like dentures because no one in nature is perfectly symmetrical. No one.
Right.
If you take one half of your face, I don't know if you've ever seen the filters, like on Facebook or Instagram, where they take somebody's face and they split it down the middle, and they mirror one side over on the other,
Yes.
and then they mirror the other side on the other, and it looks like two completely different people. Because even the most beautiful person is not symmetrical. They're not perfect. Right. And those little bitty imperfections are really what make us beautiful. So sometimes, in our denture designs, we may have one tooth that's twisted just a couple of degrees, or maybe one tooth that's a couple tenths of a millimeter higher than the other one, or maybe one sticking out just slightly. Not enough where it looks unusual, but enough so that it looks like a natural person and not something that's been manufactured.
My mom, she has the same, like on the lower, she has implants and whatnot, but she has one tooth that's just a little bit crooked, and she loves that because nobody knows she has any implants or dentures or anything.
Yeah.
They look so natural, kind of like my teeth look so natural because they're rounded and they're just, I like them. I like the design of these.
And so, usually, and like I say, that goes also with the shape of the teeth, the size of the teeth, the arrangement. We're always looking for a harmonious balance, not an exact symmetry. Exact symmetry always looks weird. It just does. But we're really striving for achieving our patients' goals of looking like beautiful people, not looking like people who have teeth that have been manufactured by someone else.
Well, I think we had a good conversation here. I know I learned some. I learned a lot here.
Well, thank you. It's nice to have someone interested in what's going on with that. You know what I mean? And not just be confused. It's great to be able to give, information to, your followers or whoever happens to watch your videos.
Yeah.
So, in a way that they can understand. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's actually very simple, but you do have to understand the language.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
I enjoyed having you, and we will see everybody later on my next video.